So check it out, it's 1990 before war, right? This kid Christopher, total brainiac. I'm talking next level genius. Kid's sitting there taking this big old test, right? And done. Perfect score. Teachers are like, wait, this kid just out Einstein. But Christopher, he's not out here bragging or flexing. Nah, my guy's just chilling. All into this robot cartoon called Cosmo. Like full on obsessed. Now his sister Michelle, total ride or die sibling energy. She's like, yo, no matter what, wherever you go, we're always connected, all right? Now humans, they're straight up beefing with robots. I'm talking all out war, metal clashing, explosions everywhere like a Michael Bay movie on steroid. The world's looking rough. But then this dude, Ethan Skate, CEO of Sentre, total tech, shows up with this game changer called neurocaster technology. Basically, humans can upload their minds into robot drones. Yeah, imagine living your whole life in a virtual reality headset, except instead of just gaming, you're controlling a metal body that does your job for you. So humanity wins the war, kicks the robots to the curb, and shoves them into this exclusion zone like they're on timeout. But here's the twist, this neurocaster stuff, it's kind of too good. People start vibing in their robot drones full time, just chilling in VR like couch potatoes, living their best lives in a mental metaverse while their meat suit bodies just sit there. Society's a hot mess. Fast forward to 1994, enter Michelle. Chick's teenager, rebellious, and rocking some serious baggage. She's stuck living with her foster dad, Ted, a guy who's about one bad day away from being a full-time villain. Turns out Michelle lost her whole family in a nasty car crash years ago, parents, brother, the whole squad. Girl's been bouncing between foster homes ever since and straight up refusing to use the neurocaster system, which makes her a total outcast at school. But then bam, this robot named Cosmo shows up. And not just any robot. This guy's like a mechanical mime with a weird playlist of pre-recorded phrases. At first Michelle's like, who sent this weirdo? But then Cosmo's like, surprise. Turns out her little brother Christopher, the one she thought died in the crash. Yeah, dude's consciousness is apparently driving Cosmo like a robot Uber. Now Ted, yeah, that shady foster dad, he spots the robot Cosmo and goes full psycho mode. Comes charging at Cosmo like he's about to win a UFC title. But Cosmo hits Ted with this slick self-defense move. Now Ted, dude's mad, calls up the cops like, yo, there's a killer robot in my house. Michelle zaps Ted and she and Cosmo are out to there. Michelle's like, yo, can you do anything about that? And Cosmo's like, snap, breaks that thing like a breadstick. Michelle's like, please don't be a psycho. So now Michelle and Cosmo are hitting the road, tearing through this Mad Max style wasteland. They're tracking down her brother Christopher, who's stuck somewhere deep in the exclusion zone. Then bam, they find this sketchy parcel. Turns out it's coming from the exclusion zone. Michelle's like, all right, let's find out who's behind this P.O. box. Maybe they know how to get us in. But hold up, some shady drones investigating their car. And this guy's got a clue. Along the way, they meet Keats, this grizzled war vet who's been through some stuff. And Herman, a robot with more forms than Transformer. Michelle and Christopher are lying low in this janky old trailer, right? They're just trying to sneak their way to the exclusion zone without getting caught. So now they roll up to Keats' warehouse and by accident, they hit the stereo. Keats and his robot buddy Herman, aka Herms, come busting in. Michelle's like, take me to the exclusion zone. And Keats, my guy's like, Pef nah. The X, that's not a tourist hotspot, sweetheart. You go there, you're toast. But oh snap, that shady drone, yeah, I found him. Comes swooping in like some robotic bounty hunter. Drone's all Michelle Leona Green, you are under arrest. And Michelle's like, yeah, I'd like to speak to my lawyer. And the drone's like, girl, where's the robot? Now Herms, my dude's like, oh, I got this. Tries to zap the drone. But nope, this drone's slick. Hitty's behind Keats like, nice try, scrap pile. Now the drone's getting spicy cornering them, but Michelle, she's like, all right, no more playing. Hits him with the crane and boom, drone got smacked. Now the tunnel, caving in like a sandcastle at high tide. So now, yeah, they're officially stuck inside the exclusion zone. Keats, man's heated. Straight up, I told you this was a bad idea. But Michelle, she's like, chill, I got this. I'm gonna find the doctor. Dude might know how to get us out here. Keats still salty, but whatever, they hit the road. Meanwhile, Ethan Skate, yeah, that corporate slimeball stressing hard. His tech guys are like, boss. Christopher, he's gone like poof, neurologically vanished. And Ethan's like, you're telling me the genius kid who's running my whole operation just pieced out? And get this, his servers, they're hanging by a thread like a Wi-Fi signal in one bar. Dude's panicking, so what does he do? He rings up the butcher of Schenectady. Ethan's like, yo, we both want the same thing, bring me the bot. And boom, next thing you know, that shady drone, back in business, baby. Meanwhile, Michelle and the crew are trucking through this dusty wasteland when wham, something comes flying at them like a missile, a slingshot. Yeah, some medieval nonsense just smacked their ride. Next thing they know, they're tied up like cartoon hostages. And a Wonderman, he's all, yo, y'all trespassing in robot territory, drags them straight to this rusted out robot hideout run by none other than Mr. Peanut. Mr. Peanut's all grumpy at first, like, I don't mess with humans, well, I'll fix nothing but trouble. But eventually, my guy Kate, he's like, all right, I'll take you to the doctor. This is where things get real. Amherst classic scientist vibes, kind of like Doc Brown with guilt issues. He spills the tea, turns out Sentre found Christopher after the crash. Kid's body was basically on airplane mode, stuck in a coma, but this kid, total genius. So Skate's like, what if we hijack this brain for science? And boom, they hook Christopher's mind into the neurocaster, making his brain the cheat code that won the human-robot war. But get this, Christopher wakes up from his coma like 13 months later, and Amherst, dude's feeling guilty as hell. So he builds a digital escape route for Christopher's mind, hoping to set the kid free. But then Colonel Bradbury rolls in with a bunch of drone goons. He snatches Christopher, Ethan off. Amherst like, RIP, Doc, and levels the robot's hideout like it's demolition day. Straight chaos. Ethan connects the robot back with Christopher. He's like, it requires sacrifice to move forward. Bradbury's like, you might not be right in the head, and Ethan's like, who cares? Keith motivates Michelle. He's like, if you want to get your brother back, you got me and Herm to help. Mr. Peanut's like, I'm in. Just let me get my hat. Turns out Doc Brown project all his memory files into a PC, and he can help them to get to the center. Now Michelle's fired up, so they sneaks into Sentre HQ with Keats and Herman playing backup. Meanwhile, outside, Mr. Peanut's squad is throwing down with Skate's robot army like it's a sci-fi WWE match. Ethan's losing it. He's like, forget this, send in the big guns, and boom, he deploys this mega drone. Next thing you know, pew pew pew. Starts shooting the robots. It's chaos, bro. Now Bradbury, bro's had enough. He flips sides, goes full redemption arc, and helps Mr. Peanut. I'm done working for this fool. Meanwhile, Michelle finds Christopher, still in a coma, brain tangled up in the neurocaster system. She meets him in this trippy virtual space where Christopher's like, sis, I'm tired. Just let me go. Real tearjerker moment. So Michelle, heartbroken, disconnects him, which ends his life, but also shuts down Centaur's entire drone network. Boom. Skate's robot reign terminated. Mr. Peanut finds Stake, and he's like, I am here to renegotiate the treaty. During the chaos, Keats loses Herman, but surprise! Turns out Herman's got this mini robot form inside him. Little dude just rolls out like, sup, I'm good. With Christopher gone, the neurocaster's cam's dead, Skate's in handcuffs, and Michelle steps up. She broadcasts a message like, yo, enough of this robot life. Let's start living for real again. Oh, and Cosmo, my robot guy gets tossed in a junkyard looking like scrap metal. But wait, bro's alive. Maybe Christopher's still hanging in there after all.